Good afternoon everybody. Jó estét kívánok mindenkinek, vagy hát szép délutánt. So we're gonna start in a few minutes. I need to check. I don't see yet the YouTube channel active, and so I have no feedback how many of you are there. We will be waiting for probably 3 more minutes to start the webinar. Meanwhile, I would have a question. I mean, the webinar was promoted in English, but we've seen that there are a lot of people from Hungary and a few from all around the world. We would like to ask you to write next to the YouTube video who you are. I mean, in a ways that just any preferences that no Hungarian please, or angolul ne léci. And then we will compare it. If there are a few English people, then we will stick to the English. If not, then we may switch to Hungarian for this particular session. Still don't see on my iPad active the video, fortunately. So I have no feedback yet. Okay, now I see myself. That's the first step. Even hear it, so I will mute it. Hello, I see a greeting. So again, this webinar was promoted in English. However, we realized that there are mainly Hungarians registered, and so we would like to just understand, please, if anybody who doesn't speak Hungarian, please write into the chat that no Hungarian, please, or in similar, ha valaki magyar és nem tudné angolul, lehet, hogy az is egy döntő szempont lesz, hogy most a mai webinárt ezt milyen nyelven folytassam, úgyhogy az írja oda, hogy léci angolul ne. A hello az az ékezetből számítva a magyarnak tűnik, de viszonylag nemzetközi. So, I only had one comment so far which seems to be Hungarian, but not so clear about the preference. So, yeah. Yeah, I've seen that we are not too many yet, and since the webinar is reasonably long, you know, we scheduled for 1.5 hours, and I have 12 slides, I guess, but I can speak a lot about them. However, still I will probably start a little bit later, just to let some people to arrive. Okay, I have one preference for English. Egyébként, hogyha lesz egy pár angol, és angolul fogjuk tartani, és lenne valaki, akinek nem annyira menne az angol, nehogy Isten, mondjuk egy személyzeti osztályról van, és a kollégái majd angolul fogják tudni hallgatni a tréninget, de ő szeretné megérteni magyarul, akkor nyugodtan jelezze most, vagy utána, a webinár után, és akkor ha csak egy-kettő jelentkező lesz, akkor akár face-to-face kettesben szívesen elmesélem, vagy ha több jelentkező lesz, akkor magyarul is megismételhetjük lehet a jövő héten. So yeah, I just said that if there will be a few people who, if we stick to the English and there are a few people who doesn't speak the language, or it could be other way around, then we could repeat it next week in the other language, or even for a public webinar or a webinar which is just face to face. So at the end of the webinar there will be my email address, and so there you will be able to send to this email address your preferences even afterwards. Okay. So slowly growing number. I see that the time is just 10 minutes past the start time. So I will probably start, I guess that at the beginning those who will miss the first few minutes will not be missing a so big deal of the actual content, the key content of today's webinar. So okay, hello everybody. I would like to ask my technical assistants to switch to the screens, and then I will go small in the corner so you can see me all the way through, but I think the screens are more important now. So who we are and what is it? You can see it from my background why we are getting the first screens. Thank you. That this is a webinar organized by Ri Consulting. This is a new consulting company originated from Hungary. So it's actually so far a Hungarian, all Hungarian consulting company specialized for scaled agile topics. Actually, could be a quiz as well, that where you may think RI is coming from. RI is relentless improvement, is the abbreviation for that. So actually this company believes that one of the most important success factors of agility is the relentless improvement, which is actually a lean originated aspect, and so that's why scaled agile, which is one of the scaled agile methodology, scaled agile framework is actually calling Lean-Agile leadership this training as well, the training we are promoting now. So the reason we are here now is that I will be conducting on behalf of Ri Consulting a SAFe certified training on the 10th, 11th and 12th of May, so in 2.5 weeks time, or how much is that? And this will be 3 times 6 hours because it will be a remote training. So because of the current situation, we are not yet sure that how many people would be happy to sit together with reasonably unknown people and myself. So we thought that we make use of the possibility that Ri Consulting in CE, probably the first, definitely in Hungary, the first bronze partner of Scaled Agile's Institute, which allows us to conduct this training remotely. And we believe that it will be better for the participants, to maybe write some emails in the morning, write some emails in the evening, or make some calls and free themselves up from their home office probably for this training. And yeah, that's you know, it's a new way of working in many ways. And so that's gonna be the format of this. The content is unchanged, so somebody who is checking on the scaledagile.com page what a Lean-Safe training consists of, that will find official trailer and hints about what are the contents, but I will be talking about that today. So the today is this webinar is a summary of that training. Obviously it is in 1.5 hours, and you know, it can only be a teaser, but I hope that it will give you some hints what you would be getting if you attend the training. If you go to the webpage of Ri Consulting, that then you would find the form, the electronic form for the registration. So those of you who are interested, please write your email there and some data, and then we will be getting in touch with you about the settlement of the training. The training itself will, on the list price, is cost 990 euros. It's actually quite heavily discounted from a classroom price. So that's just, you know, some of the additional costs we would be getting with the classroom are getting out of our way. So that's why we are able to offer it on this price. And yeah, on the what you see is that now that today I will be talking until something like 20 past. No, it's actually 10 minutes to 7. Just before the end, I will finish around 5-10 minutes, and I will be doing you know, a Q&A. You can ask questions to me. You can ask questions all the way through in the chat, but I will probably not stop. I will gather these points and I will try to answer those which are not answered at the end. But so in this last 10, maybe 15 minutes, if I may, I will be also putting out some quiz questions, 5 of them, and you will be asked to. So this is all the things I will be talking about today, 5 highlights from that, and you will be asked for answering. If you are interested, you can answer that in email. You will see my email there, yeah, if you made reasonably good answers, then you will be getting a 10% discount from the training price if you are registering with the same email address. So, but I will say it at the end as well. So yeah, that's probably for introduction. So I will be switching to the first slide, content slide. If I didn't forget anything, maybe I will summarize at the end. So yeah, yeah, and I start with some scene test setting, that where is it whole thing coming from, why it may be so interesting and important nowadays for you to get a good understanding, especially if you are a leader, about scaled agility and what are the drivers. So the first paragraph, the first section of the training is called Thriving in a Digital Age. So it's a quite poshy, fancy name for a ground setting of a training material, but this is talking about some reasons why we believe in the 21st century companies are desperately seeking for some new way of working to be able to compete. And so there is this guy, Mick Kirsten. He's a good friend of Scaled Agile Institute, but also quite famous about some of his books. One of his famous books are From Project to Product Thinking. And those of you who are somewhat familiar with agility may know that this is one of the key aspects about scaled agile, is that you get away from the project thinking, which is there for the last several decades, and then you try to think about your developments in a product-oriented way. And so one of his problem statements is that he believes that that those will be successful in the 21st century who are mastering, who are experts in large-scale software delivery. He's saying this not only for the IT industry, but he's saying it for basically the world economy almost, because you could look for ways, for examples in many industry. I think a lot of you probably heard the examples is that that who are the, and I go to the next slide. So just before I'm talking about this one, that who is the one thing which is written here, who is the biggest watchmaker in the world? You would think about, like we have the huge giants of Seiko, Citizen, and all these big players, and also from Switzerland. But actually, for a few years now, it's Apple now. So you can imagine that a company who didn't even produce watches until 2015 is now the world's leader in watchmakers, among the watchmakers. But also you can think about like other examples, like who is the bigger accommodation company nowadays in the world, even if they are struggling now in the COVID quarantine situation, the COVID crisis. It's Airbnb, and they are owning 0 hotels, and they are overtaken Hilton and Radisson and all those big long ago present players. Or the other one is that who is the biggest transportation personal transportation company. It's actually not one of the taxi companies, but it's Uber or these type of things. So there's actually a kind of a industrial revolution in the beginning of the 21st century, which is really significantly turning around the leaders of any industry. So one example is also like Tesla, of course. So they are quite on a bumpy road, but their market capitalization is exceeding now that of Ford, which actually who is in the in the market for hundreds of years. So that Tesla, that how new company they are, and they are there because of their ability to build these new types of car, which electrical cars with the self-driving cars and all those things. So and just a related statement from the BMW Group CEO that they are basically he is expecting that his research and development staff will soon become more than half of them are IT people, software developers, which is, I mean, for a car maker, it's a huge statement. So you can imagine that how big changes are going on. And so how, I mean, are these old giants are really destined to be unsuccessful, or is there a way for them to survive? Sorry, I just somehow managed to change my screen from. So I will wait a little bit while your screen is also scrolling. Yeah, that's just my small logo, but it will be back in a minute for the next slide. Okay, so this is the next slide. Then I will not be able to scroll my notes with this equipment. So basically, what he's saying is that somehow those organizations, who are not so familiar with the software industry, who are a traditional industry company like car makers or any other industry, it's not a problem that they don't realize that they need to change. The problem is that they don't know how to operate in this changed digital age with their old-fashioned infrastructural models, managerial frameworks. So, so yeah, that might sound familiar for those of us who's been working in old-fashioned companies. Before something like 4 or 5 years ago, I rejoined the consulting business basically and started working in SAFe program consulting. I've been working for one of the major international utility companies, and you can imagine a huge utility company. They've been used to selling electricity and gas, and that's been unchanged for decades, for a century. And then they realized that the e-mobility is coming in, people are buying less gas, buying more electricity, more photovoltaic based new energy is fed into the system. So actually they realized that staying competitive, they need to quite heavily change their digital thinking, digital operation, and they may need digital new ways of working. And so you probably experienced that a lot of people has been a lot of major enterprises started to pilot agility as one of the answers from startup companies some years ago, and actually what they could do, they could be quite successful with piloting. So we did this also at this utility company. First agile pilots for a new CRM system or stuff like that. That was quite easily going with some new people, with some open-minded old long-serving colleagues. A good combination could have been built. But the difficulties came later when you really need to start working with many teams and coordinating between the teams. And so then comes that the message from this slide and the first section of the training is that it's not a quote from Darwin, that it's not the strongest of the species that survives, and not the most intelligent, but actually the one who is most adaptable to change. And this is quite true for this digital age and the challenges of this digital age. So there are many answers to that. Agility is one of them. Obviously, what these big companies realized that agility was working so well for the startups, for Spotify, for Airbnb, for Uber. But what they are struggling is that how to utilize agile techniques which are made for startups. I mean, 20 years ago it was originated from a bunch of developers who's been working in it in a smaller team. But since then, in the last 10-15 years, there are many attempts to so-called scale agility to major enterprises. And one of the most successful ones is the Scaled Agile Framework. And this training is day training. So I just say that what I'm offering it here to you and anybody who will be registering, that we will be going through basically set of best practices. So what SAFe is saying, and it's definitely true, is that they have integrated the agile practices, they have scaled the agile practices, so the agile experience to scaled enterprise level. They have integrated lean mindset for the leadership. They have integrated, and they are continuously integrating new things. So when I started 2-3 years ago, after that there was a integration of DevOps, which is not a scaled agile invention, but they realized that helps the goals of scaled agility. And recently they have also integrated, for example, design thinking into the product package of the scaled agility. So that's why this is really a collection of different practices working well in companies, and they are, you know, the goal is to you know, be able to innovate and build new products and services faster than. So what you would be getting with scaled agility and the SAFe itself, and there are other well-working models in Hungary. Probably the most known is the Spotify model, which is actually a simplified scaled agile framework, but for some reason it got used in some of the big companies. But you know, just what I would say, that scaled agile framework is probably one of the most complicated ones, most complex ones. But I guess that for companies who are not yet sure that where they will be really struggling and where they are struggling with scaling agility, and also they are not sure that what they can leave out on what they can put it, it's a very wise technique to start looking through the whole scaled agile framework, and you know, after some practice, a few quarters, a year or so, you would be feeling much more comfortable to tailor it to your company. So actually from SAFe you would be getting, I could say, yeah, I'm not American, so I can say that it's actually a somewhat idiot-proof methodology, very practical translation of agility, which is actually, agility is a soft thing. But SAFe is some of the people saying that SAFe may be too rigid, and that they might be right. SAFe is I think intentionally trying to be a bridge between the old way of working, the hierarchical models, and the full agility, and so that's, you know, those companies, especially in my how to say, experience. I've been working with German based headquarter companies, and for example, I believe for the German cultures, it is really a very good bridge between their old culture, their heritage, and agility, which is quite an American thinking. So if I go to the next slide, just wait a little bit while you are following me. So on the next slide, there are many numbers, and this is you can say this is a marketing leaflet from SAFe, but I guess it shows a lot of things which are very useful for you to go back and, for example, sell this training to your bosses, to your HR department, and maybe, you know, more colleagues. So please, you feel free to use this. I guess that we will be happy to share these slides for internal usage. So yeah, what are the key messages from this slide? I will not read the whole thing, but these are different things about scaled agile framework, which are let's say really useful knowledge for when considering you know, for rolling it out at a company, even for one person or more person. So the key thing is in the middle. It's about typical results, and when we are saying typical results, is that SAFe, when it's implemented at enterprises, you can see on the left side, it's more than 20,000 enterprises worldwide now who have implemented some parts of SAFe, maybe not the full, but usually the essential part, definitely. And they are, you know, they are actually some kind of asked, and not saying obliged, but they are really asked sincerely to share their KPIs. And you know, one of the most important KPI is time to market, productivity increase, so how much more you can deliver, quality improvements, how many less defect you have in your product development, on your software development, than in your old ways, and then somehow you know, if you have any employee satisfaction measurement, that's also. And you see here some percentages which are quite radical. So you know, 50% time to market means that what you know, what lasted 10 months until now, it's on average now 6.6 months, so 6.5 months to get from the idea to the market product. And I'm really not talking about IT anymore. I may have said that from 5.0 version of the SAFe methodology, it is now really de-ITized, as I would say. Sorry for my English. So that means that they have translated that how scaled agile can be used in other parts of the company, and it's like marketing was product development is one of the first obvious choices where it doesn't have to be an IT product, but also now HR, legal, many other areas of companies are using, and then this is an average of all. So you can see probably IT companies going maybe twice faster than they've been earlier, or maybe some companies are only achieving 20, 25, 30%, but yeah, that's actually quite a convincing number. And as I said, this is not a selection. So this is not only American companies. You see 50 plus countries we have worldwide. So actually 120 plus countries there are trained people who are somewhat using SAFe at some companies, we guess. And so there are help in a lot of countries also to supporting that, and one of them is Ri Consulting who can do this help for you. So yeah, just as an example, when I say that it's not only IT anymore, it's also, you can see on the top that there are SAFe days and SAFe summits twice a year, one in Europe, one in the worldwide. Actually nowadays it's remote, electronic, web-based. So I've been lucky to attend the last 3 of them actually, 2 European and 1 worldwide. And on the worldwide one, for example, I heard a very interesting presentation from the American Navy. So you can imagine that a militant organization, a governmental organization. I mean, this is probably the last thing you would think that they would be, going agile. And they really gave some beside the lean mindset and the lean leadership and the more delegation, less autocratic approaches. You can actually hear two practical examples. I would say, I think I have time for that. So one of the examples is that there was an atomic submarine who actually went agile. That means that they delegated almost every decision making to a doer level, and that's really a scaled agile principle, that delegate every decision to a level where the most knowledgeable people are, but keep the most important decisions to the top. And for example, they kept the pressing the button, the launching the missile decision to the captain of this submarine. I think it's a good example of, you are not foolishly delegating everything. You are really thinking through what you would delegate in an agile organization. The other good example is the ground operation and actually the ground and the air operation, which utilized also agile. One principle is the MVP, the minimum viable product. So what they did is that they selected, basically they reviewed what supplies soldiers working overseas, fighting overseas would need to get as a minimum. So, some basic food, some, I don't know, I mean, I'm not a soldier expert, luckily, unluckily, but military expert, but they decided it what, and they implemented delivery methods, safer delivery methods for the minimum supply, probably some ground operations or maybe the parachutes or whatever, and when they needed to do a faster supply for any unexpected thing, then they did that differently. So they made sure with a minimum viable product approach that the soldiers get the minimum supply of food, and they, when they needed faster delivery, they applied different methods, maybe with planes and parachute and whatsoever. So you can see that really it's not anymore IT. It's really business where you can scale agility and you can make use of it. So how your, what you would be getting from Lean-Safe and what your company would be getting from the Lean-Safe training, or this, so that's, from your point of view, you would be getting concrete hints and tricks and examples of how you can implement Scaled Agile. ScaledAgileFramework.com website is actually free of charge for browsing, and you get most of the materials there, but as I said, it's reasonably complicated for a first reader, and when basically for that reason you would be you would be better off getting some narrative to that, and for that reason the Lean-Safe would be a good way for any leader to get a first insight to the world of scaled agility. For your company, when you have a certified SAFe people in your organization, you would be getting, for example, tools to run your agile ceremonies. So there's a new remote collaboration tool, which is actually, you could use any generic tools like Miro or any whiteboarding applications, but Scaled Agility has its own built Scaled Agile has its own built collaboration tool which has already prepared templates. You would get the potential to ask for benchmarks. So when you are looking at these case study typical results, you could be asking for a subset of, let's say, a regional subset and the industrial subset of these figures, and you could be comparing that. If you are a governmental organization, okay, how governmental organizations in Europe, comparing. Maybe I'm not interested in America because they are so different culture, but how does it look in the for example, in the DACH region or so. So yeah, that's quite a lot of practical things which you can get out of joining the Scaled Agile community. But I will be saying a few more words at the end. But now let's skip to the topics. So basically that's it about the first paragraph. I will be faster with the second and the further paragraphs. So the second paragraph is about Lean Agile leadership, which is the primary topic of the training. And as you can see on the right side of the screen, it talks about soft topics. I mean, Lean Agile leadership is quite a soft topic in terms of how you would need to change for a agilized organization as a leader to be successful as a leader and your organization to be successful. So there are many things. It's about mindset. Probably we heard in other trainings that the fixed mindset versus the growth mindset is very important. It's actually the whole lean thing is coming in on the leadership level. So you as a leader, if you apply the house of lean, so you're having your proper ground basement, and then you actually put the pillars on it. So you relentless improvement, your people, right people culture and processes and flows in place. Then you will get the best value out of it. So that's implied. But also, probably most importantly, this paragraph is talking about the let's say the scaling the Agile Manifesto. So I mean, I guess most of you are familiar that the Agile Manifesto was invented exactly 20 years ago, actually, in a small team, and talking about what you would need to do differently if you want to be successful with an Agile method. And I just give you a few examples, like don't try to imply trust. Even if you are working with customers and suppliers, you need to trust each other and not always go back with the help of legal departments to fight on the contracts and whatever. You don't always stick to tools. You actually let your people talk again. I mean, you may not realize, but I'm having more than 20 years working experience, and I have started working when emails didn't exist. And I can tell you that it was a lot different because, yeah, it was harder to reach some remote people, but we called each other, we went to each other and we talked. And that's for probably reasons of yeah, laziness or whatever. It's not anymore used. So this is the Agile Manifesto, but it's so basic and so team level. It has yeah 12 points which you can, most of them you can interpret, but the SAFe methodology actually translated Lean and Agile Manifesto to a set of SAFe principles. So I think now around 10 or more than 10 principles there. And that's really practically how bigger organizations should apply Agile and Lean, and those are the body of this paragraph. So actually, we can talk about it quite a lot, even half a day or so. But obviously, I will not touch it here. So it's just a teaser that this training will help to translate for you those principles which SAFe is recommending to be followed. So yeah, I mean, just to name an example, that you need to apply system thinking. So make sure that your teams are not optimizing to their particular goals. It happens especially in old-fashioned silos a lot, that IT is measured with some KPIs, business is measured different KPIs, business measured by business results, IT is measured by, I don't know, some artificial, semi-artificial KPIs of how many defects or how long your defects are open in at your help desk or so, and that's not good. So you need to change your setting and apply your system thinking, and this is not in the Agile Manifesto, so you can only get it with a scaled Agile, one of the scaled Agile methods. So yeah, this is the paragraph is about. So how will you person benefit from it? I mean, you would be getting, for example, this system thinking. I mean, to be honest, it's a somewhat a no-brainer. So if your organization is not deciding on going Agile or not yet, then still as a leader, you can go and probably implement more than half of these principles on your own in your own organization. So I truly believe that this is the part which you can definitely make use of when you go back to your workplace. Okay, I think that's all about this section I wanted to say. So let's go to the next one. So the third paragraph is about the team level agility, and so this is actually the basic agility, and the reason is there because we cannot really how to say, we cannot really assume that everybody is coming with a basic agile understanding, especially leaders. So this paragraph will be concentrating on you know, giving you the ground understanding of the role in the agile teams. So you know, product owner, scrum master, and the team itself. Also that how maybe team of teams will be working, and one important thing is that about the quality, that be clear that agility doesn't solve on its own the quality problems. Actually, it can make your quality problems worsen if you are not applying the right additional techniques to be successful with this agile way of working, and that's about utilizing additional techniques. Make your team utilizing additional techniques. So if you are back in IT terms, then you know, for example, extreme programming has a lot of ideas how you can make sure the quality. You need to continuously concentrate on quality while you are fasten up your process to make sure that your team is keeping the quality or improving the quality. So these kind of things are touched in here, just to give ideas to the leaders that how they can so what they can expect from their team, and you know what they should do to support their teams in being successful with team and technical agility. Yeah, so that's about this one. I'm not gonna be spoiling this anymore. I mean, you can imagine that that there are a lot of interesting hints about how agile teams are working, and so if you come with zero knowledge, then you will get away with actually quite solid knowledge about agile teams, even if your company is only doing team level agility and not scaled agility. The next paragraph is the heart of the scaled agile, I would say. So with the previous team agility, this agile product delivery is the one which is bringing into your company this new thinking, which make at the beginning was referring to, that you need a new way of working to be successful in the digital age. Go away from sometimes self-invented projects or never-ending projects or projects running for their own, to make sure that you have a governance structure which is making sure that you are actually delivering, maybe even continuously, business value, products with the highest value, you enhancing your products based on the highest priorities in a new way. And that's agile product delivery. So together with the previous one, this is the essential SAFe was called in earlier versions, and this is what most of the enterprises are starting with. So for example, we with the colleagues from Ri Consulting supported a airline company who is based mainly headquarters, or at least the IT and marketing functions in Budapest. I don't say their name, but you can guess it's not Malev anymore, but another one, which is an international company. And they went, they started only essential SAFe in their digital organization, and we've been supporting them with their Ri Consulting colleagues in their first quarterly planning and running the first quarter. And they have implemented these things. So design thinking is a new thing in there, but it's really a good addition to this thing, because you need to be able to invent the best product ideas and product improvement ideas. And quite often in the old world, I face that teams are quite knowledgeable about their products, but they are actually not too good to, especially when they long work with products, to renew themselves. To understand the new things in the new market important, and design thinking helps to ensure that. So for example, in my previous company, which I mentioned, this utility company, actually they sold the whole gas retail operation to the governmental utility company. And imagine that a few months afterwards, when we had actually no more gas retail, some people in the business and the IT organization came up with some ideas how to improve the SAP system for better gas retail processes. And I was totally shocked, and we were totally shocked in the management, that guys, I mean, we don't even have gas retail anymore, and you come up with an idea for a project to improve the gas retail. So it's like these big organizations, like a huge ship, which really slowly changes direction, and you need really good frameworks to make sure that. So on the right side, or top right side, you see developing on cadence, which is an agile method. So having sprints and releasing on demand, and separating deploy from release. IT guys may understand what I'm talking about. For product colleagues, I can explain on the training how I believe this can be implemented. And okay, maybe DevOps not exactly, but also I would say that R&D people needs to have with the product operating people working together to scale up a good R&D idea. So that's also, even in the product area, DevOps for me. And there is a term called Agile Release Train. This is how SAFe calls the team of teams. and how they should operate in a continuous quarterly planning basis and whatever. And this section will be talking about that. So yeah, that's the next chapter. And let's go to the next one. Section 5 will be talking about lean portfolio management. Lean comes in again, so we don't call it agile necessary, but it is somewhat quite strongly correlated. So how you fund for your agile operations, your agile teams, that needs to change in a while, because you cannot just make sure with your old-fashioned let's say yearly budget planning and a 3-year long-term planning, that an agile team which may change what they will develop in 3 weeks time in their next sprint, and they will potentially need different budgeting for that needs to change. So this is an advanced level of the agile working, but definitely something which is quite powerful if your company reaches that. It has 3 pillars. One of them is how you define your strategic funding, investment funding. So you need to derive from your strategy what you are funding, and there's a new term which is called value stream. So it's not value chain but value streams, basically streams which are delivering potentially can help you delivering additional value, like customer centricity, like operational excellence, whatever. Just to give you a few examples, these are the ones which this subparagraph is helping you to figure out what. And there is a separate training course for this particular section. So lean portfolio management will be the next training I will be conducting at the beginning of June. It's not yet advertised on Ri Consulting site, but it will come out soon. So those of you who will get interested in this one, it's actually going to be a 4 days, 6 hours, 4 times 6 hours training, because it's a much bigger and much more, even more interactive, more workshop style training. But we will have probably a separate webinar on the topics of this. So now just shortly about here what is it all about. So I said funding is the first thing. The second one is how you operate your funded value streams and the epics, which are the successors of projects in the agile world. So how you are prioritizing and operating your epics, that's something which is in this subsection. And the lean governance is, as I said, one of the key aspects of agility is to delegate. And also you may be surprised, but even in funding, Lean-Agile is recommending to delegate more to the people who know the most about these value streams, those value delivery vehicles, and let them to decide, prioritize among the epic ideas what to develop next and how to work. So, but for that you need a well-working, empowered, but still let's say retroactively observing governance function, and this is lean governance. So basically what you would be getting from this, a basic understanding of a advanced level of scaled agility, so where your company may go in maybe in a few years time, but also you may be challenging your controlling organizations when you go back, that think about applying some of those techniques, because value streams can be mapped to old-fashioned programs in your organization, and the question is how much freedom your program managers are getting in deciding what kind of projects are funded from them and how they are governed or controlled. So that's something which is a partial implementation of lean portfolio management, which you could do earlier. And going to one of the last but one section, I guess, of the trainings, we are getting back to a little bit the leadership topic. So I said in the first chapter, or actually the second chapter, you heard about how the leaders should work, how the organization should culturally work differently, and the SAFe principles help you to achieve that. In the 6th paragraph, you would be actually getting insight to the so-called Scaled Agile Framework roadmap, implementation roadmap. But before telling that, this is again a very practical approach to tell you and your organization what you need to do. But what you would be seeing from that roadmap is that the first topic is the get the proper ownership, the proper buy-in from the top levels of the organization. So if you are a mid-level manager and you are sent to this training you will be the only one in a big organization who are trained for SAFe, you probably will be hard time to selling this in your organization. You will need to get at least one of the executive team members, a C-level person, preferably the CEO, to be the owner of the whole agile transformation, scaled agile transformation, and get them to get involved and commit to what we are doing. So, for example, one of the first steps we are doing when we are executing an implementation roadmap is to identify these key stakeholders, these key sponsors, executives, and management, and get them trained with this Lead SAFe training. So it's probably not enough to get. There is a half-a-day executive workshop for an executive team if you want to train all of them. But some of the members who will be piloting first this method, they should be doing the whole 2-day training. And Mr. Deming, who is one of the inventors of this framework, and he's very famous about management, challenging management in a new way of working, is that he says that the way management needs to show their commitment is, for example, they cannot delegate the responsibility for implementing scaled agility. So if for a training a C-level person who is nominated as owner, sponsor, not coming, then shouldn't delegate any from his organization or her organization. Actually, then should send nobody. And that's really a powerful statement about how successful organization can be. And for example, what I said about this airline company who has the headquarters, or at least the IT and the marketing organization here in Budapest, they had the chief digital officer being the key sponsor for their change. And because this guy was coming from a Western country, and he came here and he realized that how random and unpredictable his digital organization being, both marketing and IT, delivering new product features. He decided that SAFe is probably a safe methodology to implement, to change the culture of his team, and that because he was there for the first planning all the way through. He was there when we redesigned the teams and so on. That's really a good example how this successful can be. So what you can get from this training is the one which allows you to get the mindset. So it's a kind of assurance that who comes for 2 days training, just ask anybody who who attends this training, that those will be somewhat believers. I'm almost sure that it is a successful. They may be challenging whether in their organization it can be implemented fully or even partially. But I think everybody will understand that what are the benefits from it. And so what you would be getting is, as I said, is also an exact roadmap. And this roadmap is based on a much older technique or methodology. Is basically you may have heard a lot about change management. I mean, when I started first big project at the Hungarian oil company as a consultant in the middle of 90s, we've been building, not in an agile way, but we've been building a huge system and a new purchasing shared service organization for them. And you can imagine that with those lot of small kings around Hungary being able to purchase anything what they wanted, to go to an organization where there were quite a lot of centrally entitled purchases only, and only the non-core items were allowed, or some core items as well. So a well-defined set of products anymore allowed to be bought locally. That was a huge change, and even that point in time, I was working for a Big Four company at that time, and they've been coming with some change management experts, and I was laughing because these guys were seeming for me that they know nothing. They are not able to to help how to implement an SAP system or something which will be a key enabler for this new organization. But they've been professionals knowing what Mr. Kotter is, for example, explaining in his Leading Change book. And here is the 8 points as a spoiler from the book, but you are welcome to read the book even if you are not doing an agile change, just any change. And there are many changes going on nowadays. So he's saying that there are, you probably know the change curve, that everybody knows that what change management needs to do is that when there's a change, there will be a dip of the performance, a huge dip, and in this performance you need to be fast managing that what the people are not in shock anymore, not in denial, but accepting the change, and then the performance will soon arise over the change. What this simplified change methodology doesn't contain is basically the most of Mr. Kotter's ideas. That what he's saying is that you need to actually plan well the change first, and with this planning, you plan what change, how you want to do the change, who are the key stakeholders I mentioned already. You build a vision for the change. You actually try to empower some people to work out the details of it. Try to generate some short-term wins with piloting it maybe. Then consolidating those quick win gains and lessons learned, and produce more wins by rolling it out for a larger organization. Now, I was really fast going through this point, but really, so what we are saying is that I think what I've seen in the Central European region is that we believe that we are quite clever, those people who are launching change in a project team, that we can think through fast all these things, and we just jump into the rollout of a big solution. And then we are really missing the people aspect. And so that's why what SAFe is saying is that try to identify the key people, try to identify the right timing. That's the sense of urgency. So maybe for a bank in Hungary who were forerunners for the last 40 years or 50 years or 60 years now, and they are from very distantly maybe in a danger by fintech companies, but not really. Starting an agile transformation now will be quite probably ending up in a marketing campaign that we are agile, and maybe hopefully will bring up the prices on the stock market, but it will be probably very hard because there's the burning platform is not there yet, and maybe the management, not enough members and not enough key members of the management is behind. It can quite easily fail. So you need to find the right timing with the right part of the organization. So quite often innovative teams, Digital teams are best to start with because they're burning enough platform and whatever. But this is all what you need to think through. You need to find which part of the vision they will be working on, and try to translate that vision and strategy quite well for your agile organization, the part where you are piloting it. And then you go to the you recruit the best team, you put together the team, and you actually, what I didn't say, but there are trainings along the side. So we are now doing an unusual way, offering this training to you as a public course. It's actually the best to do this training when your organization decided when to start the change, who are the leaders who you will be the key in the change, and then train them for the Lean-Safe training. And then when you go to the team training, then you train the team, you train the Scrum Master, the product owners. Those are all different trainings. But that's basically a translation of these Mr. Kotter's steps is the SAFe implementation roadmap. So the message is what you would be getting and your company would be getting from this training is a translated roadmap to a digital world, how you should think with what steps to do or not do. So I mean, it's totally fine for a company to jump over one step if they have thought through this step and they are intentionally know that they will not fail with this. But just from the I'm a clever CE guy and I will jump to the step 5 will probably make an organization fail. So yeah, I'm not gonna give you, it's a teaser, I'm not giving you now the SAFe roadmap. You can find it on the website, but obviously if you come to the training you would be getting much more of it. So my last slide is actually about the whole training certification. So what you are getting with this, so as I said, there are, SAFe is offering many role-based trainings, so-called role-based trainings. So product owner, Scrum Master, team member, these are all trainings. And the leader is a separate training. This is the Lead-Safe. And there's a portfolio manager is also a separate training. So if you come to the Lead-Safe training, you will be getting a so-called Scaled Agilist certification, or actually a possibility after my training. If you attended the trainings, as part of this price, you are getting a possibility on the Scaled Agile website to for 1 month you can log in and answer 65 questions about the training material, and if you are 75% or more successful, then you are getting a certification about the actual that yes, you are SAFe certified leader, so-called Scaled Agilist. You attended the course. Actually, if you fail, you actually can do practices. There are practice exams. So I've been doing it for my first exam. I don't know, for a week long, many times, maybe 5 or 10 times, just to be sure that I will be successful. Sorry for pushing the microphone. I just realized. So yeah, that you have a full month to do it. Don't leave it to the last days. But yeah, so it's good for the person. But it's also good that you will become a member of this so-called SAFe community platform, where there are some tools, where there are a lot of others. So these 700,000 trained people are there, and if you are having difficulties with some aspects of agility, you can just submit there. It's like you can imagine like a Facebook or a LinkedIn, that you can submit a question and there will be a lot of volunteers will be answering your questions. There are regular meetups organized where different topics are discussed, and you will be getting a notification of that. And yeah, the summits are already mentioned, these conferences which are gathering a lot of case studies, like I said, case study about the Navi. So these are the things you would be getting, and obviously you as a person, yeah, you can use these tools and the community for guiding your agile journey when you don't have a consultant around you to answer, or you don't want to immediately pay for every question. So yeah, that's about the certification, but I will be saying more on the training about the certification. The last paragraph is about the certification. And since I didn't get any questions until now, I will be going to the last slide, which is asking for the Q&A. So you are welcome to ask any questions even now in the YouTube comments. The LinkedIn I'm not watching, so please use the YouTube. If you posted anything to the LinkedIn, then I will be checking it afterwards and maybe answering in email if you send some. If it's so sensitive question you don't want here to answer, then I can answer it written. You see my email address on the top of this site, so it's coach-it@outlook.com. And now comes the Q&A, which I said that if you answer these questions from my presentation, I guess I said all of them, and you send it in an email, please. This one, do it in an email, so don't do it in a YouTube, because we need to delete it just for the others not to. But those of you who are answering 5 questions in an email to my email address rightly, then they will get a 10% discount from the 990 euro price of this training. And yeah, so just while I'm waiting for other questions, I'm reading up these questions. So I think it was on the second content slide, third slide, who is the biggest watchmaker in the world now? Just a hint is that it's not any of the old watchmakers like Seiko, Citizen, or any of the Swiss watchmakers. Then the second question is about this ugly slide where there was a lot of information, but time to market on average, how much faster it enables the safe method using major enterprises. So how much faster, what percent the time to market is faster. Then the third one is one of the topics I just recently mentioned, or actually I mentioned it also on this big slide. You know that there are actually more than 20,000 somewhat safe enterprises worldwide, and if you can remember what I said, what benefits your company would be getting if one of the company employees are becoming members of the SAFe community, and you become part of these safe enterprises. The next one, the last but one, is about one of the previous slides. So how many steps Kotter recommends for managing change? That hopefully you remember the number. If not, then you can browse on the internet. I think it's useful to get a link to his book or to a summary. And maybe the recent feedback is that what benefits would be bringing becoming a certified skilled agilist for yourself. If you could remember any of the things I said. So send these 5 answers to coach-it@outlook.com, and I will confirm that it was good. And then with the same email address, if you are registering on the ri.co.hu, or which you see behind me, or the Ri.guru website, then you would be getting this 10% discount. I don't see any questions anymore here, so maybe we will be ending then sooner than you. What I can be also offering, that I guess what we discussed with the RI consulting colleagues, that we will be putting out this recording, because it's recording, I guess, we will be putting out on the website or somewhere on our channels. So probably there might be many people who are listening to me now from recording. And what I can say that even a few days before the training, if you are answering these Q&As in an email to me, then we could be offering the same discount to you, even if you are not doing it right now, this evening, or these days. So yeah, I hope that we will be able to put this webinar somewhere where it can be watched recording. So yeah, I've seen that let's say like 2/3 of the people left the webinar by now. 1/3 just now before my Q&A, the other, some of them before that. But I hope that all of you got out some useful information from it. Yeah, so I hope that it will get to many more people. We may be reporting it also, or just putting out the recording. But if anybody is interested in discussing in Hungarian, maybe a last information is that one of the reasons why we are doing this in English, this webinar I didn't mention, is that the training itself, the training material is only English, and the exam is only English. So you need to have a reasonably good English to be able to pass, yeah, the exam. And yeah, the material is in English. If in the training we will be having only Hungarian registered, then we might do it in Hungarian. I might be able to switch just from one moment to another, so I don't need to prepare separately. The material will be still in English. So far the registered people are only Hungarian, so there's a chance now. But those of you who are puzzled about Hungarian information, please contact me on this email address, and then I will be answering, and I will be, even if you prefer personal, then you leave your phone number and I will be calling you back, and not in an email if you want a more consultative discussion. But yeah, that's all, I guess. So if there are really still no questions, then yeah, I would say thank you very much for listening to me. I hope that I made really it was a good teaser for you to be interested in this training and come and join the training. And yeah, I'm hoping to get a lot of questions retroactively, and I'm hoping to see most of you on the training, and also this Lead-Safe training, and later the Lean Portfolio ones. And if you are interested in both of them, then I could also say that's also, without answering the quiz, it's also a good opportunity to get some level of discounts as well. So contact me also then. So if really no more questions, I will be silent for a few more minutes. Just the last minute question may pop up. There's a lag of half minute more or less with my recording, which you see, and then we will just switch off after half a minute then, if there's no questions. So thank you very much.